Dr. B here. Please give it a listen, a watch. Fantastic Deals and Dreams pilot series. I interviewed a lot of folks in the real estate and or business world. I hope you enjoy this episode. Enjoy. Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of my podcast. I have the great Christiane Schroeter. Is that how you say it?
It's
It's close.
amazing.
Hey, how you doing today? How's everything?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, it's a great day to share some really cool insights here today on this podcast. Can't wait.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Let's jump right into it as we match. I love
Yeah,
that. Which
we
is not a
work really
requirement.
hard. Audience, you'll have to watch the video. I
Right.
mean, there's been quite a lot of back and forth on our part, so we did not go easy on you guys.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. We'll start with an easy one. Tell everyone about yourself.
Yeah, so I live in California. I'm a professor here at the university, teach innovation, entrepreneurship, marketing. I have two teenage daughters, an amazing husband, and of course, if you can hear from my accent, a long time ago, now more than half of my life I live in the United States, but a long time ago, I was actually born in Germany. So I kind of bridge a little bit of the European structure with my American bubbliness, if that's even a word. And I'm really passionate about sparking something in you that I call the superpower. And we're going to talk more about that later.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fantastic. How you blending both worlds, right? And then
Yep.
instilling it into your family and then your daughters, right? So I love that. I love that. Cool. So I always start very simple education and I'll pivot my way into the core of the matter, right? So
Hmm.
you went to school, I guess back in Germany, and then you also went to Kansas State and
Hmm.
to get your PhD from Purdue, both in agricultural economics. So
Hmm.
how does that education, how does that help you? How has it helped you in what you do today?
Hmm. Yeah, so coming from Germany, and actually the fun element is that the name of the university where I studied in Germany, Lübeck, Liebig actually invented the law of the minimum, which is if there is, he was a chemist, right? If there is a factor that is limiting, then the soil or whatever medium you look at cannot thrive. Now, you think about us entrepreneurs or business owners or even professionals. Think about how frequently we put our wellness on the back burner. And
A
that's like
lot.
the law of
A
the
lot.
minimum right there, right? You cannot thrive in your business if you put your wellness on the back burner.
Right.
So think about how that name of the university has impacted what I do today, which is I'm a business and wellness coach. And even though I named the word business first, wellness is just as important. You cannot thrive in your business by putting your wellness on the back burner because it's going to be this law of the minimum that's going to restrict how much you can grow and scale and thrive. So the university in Germany has impacted me a lot in the way that there's a lot of structure that is in the university and education system in Germany. But at the same time, it's also really traditional in the way that what you pick up is just so research driven, so much rooted in, traditions that when I came to United States, it was much more, I'd say forward thinking in terms of building a community. So I like the research and I like the community, and that's really what I'm emphasizing in my classroom too. I always tell students, yes, I would love for you to use ChatGPT, but at the end of the day, the best people are actually sitting around you because those are the people that at the end of the day will be your collaborators. They might be working in certain professions that you can call them up and you can talk to them. So I appreciate what I learned in Germany in terms of you really have to question sometimes. Like, let's pick back on ChatGPT, what it gives you. It's like, actually, is that true? Is that real? And then you have to maybe talk to people and get their feedback about it. So I love research, and at the same time, I love the community aspect. So that's kind of like how I think my education is really straddling both worlds.
Yeah, I'm the same way. In that sense, like I love the research or love know to know how things work, but at the same time, and community, especially what I do with the Hispanic Chamber out here east. So I think you and I are
Mhm.
very similar in that vein, right? So cool. And then you also went to Kansas State and Purdue. I guess that set the tone or foundation to what you do today as well, correct?
Yeah, I mean, like one important aspect, of course, is anybody that ever dreamed about living somewhere different, you don't even have to go abroad. Just moving around the United States is really just increasing your understanding about this diverse, amazing country that we live in, right? Every state is like a mini country in itself, and even the regions within a state. So I really appreciate that I lived in the Midwest. I actually worked in the South for a little while. I worked in Arkansas as well because to me, this makes me a more well-rounded professor now in understanding different backgrounds, different cultures. My latest book is called Discover Your Superpower, and it's actually on the cover is this tree that has roots. And I always think I want to talk about my German roots, but I also want to talk about the roots when I lived in different parts of the United States and how that impacted my thinking and my understanding now of how we are using our superpower in our day-to-day life. Because wherever you live, wherever you kind of increase your understanding, it will impact who you are today. It's making you a little bit more well-rounded. So yeah, Midwest was amazing. The South was amazing, and now I live on the West Coast,
West
and I
Coast.
would
Keep
consider this
anywhere
my
out
home
west.
here.
More.
Could consider this my home now here.
I love that. Yeah, although I never lived, I've only lived in New York and New Jersey, so I just
Mhm,
crossed the river a little bit. But
mhm.
just by me traveling to different conferences and different
Yeah.
parts of the country and knowing people in different regions kind of expands your mind, right?
Mhm,
As opposed to just being closed-minded and just thinking about, hey, everything is done like the New York way and that's it, right? So I
mhm,
like that. I like that about you. So awesome. I'm gonna pivot to my next question. So you're owner of Hello Happiness, right? So you help
mhm,
women in business improve their health and confidence so they can show up for their lives, business and businesses differently. So what is? Tell me a
mhm.
little bit about Hello Happiness.
Yeah, so I started the coaching business because I noticed in the classroom at the university, I frequently see that especially female students have great, bold dreams, but they put them a little bit on the back burner because they think, well, I need to find a job first, and maybe I need to hustle and make money and pay off student loans and whatever they got going on. And they have amazing dreams. I want to be a lawyer. I want to work in policy. I want to work in this amazing food company right here. Then, when I catch up with them, could be 2, 5, 10 years later, those dreams frequently are there, which doesn't mean that they not all of them always go for that dream. Let's put it like that, right? Some of them do, some of them don't. And I feel that it doesn't always have to be even a professional dream. It could even be a dream like, oh, I always thought about creating a little business and doing this business while I raise my family. And then at that point in time, whether that was 2 or 5 or 10 years later, there is no access to resources to really get this idea from just something that lives in the back of your mind to a feasible entrepreneur or venture, let's put it like that. So I help women not sit on the sidelines and think that day will come when I'm eventually going to do this. It's just not today. So I'm going to turn the someday into today. We're going to get this started. We're going to work on your big idea because if it's something that you've always dreamed about doing, you really want to get started on this because it's actually going to create momentum. And it doesn't have to be even that you set a certain deadline, like, oh, I'm going to do this by at the end of this year, 2025. It could just be that you get slowly chipping away because along the way, you might even realize that there is something else that you're passionate about, or maybe your original idea is completely different from how you imagined it would be, but at least you explored it. Because I think that we frequently have goals. And the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to look back at the end of our life and think, oh man, I just wish I would have gotten started on this. So that's really what I do. I work with entrepreneurs, many of them are female, and I give them confidence to get started on their dreams.
I love that. I think what happens to a lot of us, male or female, is we have all these dreams, all those aspirations, and like you said, life gets in the way, and then a year
Mhm.
passes by, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and then like you said, they look back and they don't take action. So I'm happy that your job is to make sure that they take action, right? And they don't just sit on the sidelines any longer, right? So that's so awesome. That's so awesome to hear. Um, I also want to bring up a point later. Actually, I'm going to bring it up now. So, oddly enough, one of my goals this year was to write a book. Well, last year was to write a book to publish this year. It came out last week. Dealmaker, cheap plug. How to raise unlimited capital for your deals. So, long story short, along the way, it goes to your point. I sparked an idea for my next goal. Like, I want to get my 9-year-old. I have two daughters. My little one is 9, so I want to get her involved in maybe have her as a co-author and make her bestseller next, right? So that's my next goal. We're gonna write a children's book together. So
Mhm.
has nothing to do with the interview, but I just wanted to let you know
I think
that.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I love that. So health is wealth, as they say, right? So I know you also work as a fitness instructor. Is that all part of what you do at Hello Happiness? Or tell me a little bit about
Mhm.
how does that all intertwine, as they
I like that.
say?
Great idea. So, business and wellness coaching. And I'm also a speaker and author. And of course, I have my own podcast that I use also to coach. So for me, the fitness instructor role is exceptionally crucial for two reasons. A, I want to show people that you can show up and you can actually teach something that you're really passionate about. So I teach fitness classes and I inspire people to come to my fitness classes, no matter how they feel on that day. My goal is to make them walk away with a smile on their face and feeling good. I never had anybody that left and said, "Gosh, I just wish I wouldn't have worked out today." Right? It just doesn't happen. So that's one of my goals, to create a community that's really embracing of getting you in the class and making you feel better about yourself. Secondly, is of course, now we talked about this, the diversity of different roles that I have. I think that's really the beauty of life, that we don't wear one hat. We're not just this one, like, very one dimensional human being. We actually have a lot of facets about ourselves. So think about that tree that I just showed you on the cover of my book. These are all the different roots. I'm passionate about health and wellness. My dissertation focused on obesity. So how can I carry this through in my day-to-day life is I teach fitness classes, because I think you can't coach somebody to take care of themselves if you're actually really not doing it yourself, right? So I want to be a role model, starting with my daughters. I want to be a role model to them. I want to be a role model to the students I see in the classroom. And of course, I want to be a role model to my clients. And the way that I do it is I do a lot of research about what I teach in my classes, how it impacts your body, and how I can describe it in a way that it makes it really fun. So for instance, I sing a lot in my classes. I kind of like sing out cues and things.
Are you
And,
good?
and
Are you a good singer?
oh, it's horrendous.
I just check out. I'm only kidding.
No, it's like absolutely atrocious. Like I mean, you basically have to smile and laugh because it's so bad. Uh, and then of course, like I frequently don't know the words to the songs. I just make up my own lyrics that are like fitness based, so to speak. And I think that's what makes it so irresistible, that I'm putting myself out there and I'm showing people, look, I'm just like that person on the stage that's singing, that is showing you how to do something with a lot of different options, no matter where you are coming from. I'm showing you how you can work your abs. It doesn't have to be one way. There are a lot of different entry points. And I think that frequently people remember me for what I tell them in my class. It's not always the exercise, but it's like what I tell them in my class, the little stories that go along with the exercises. So to me, it's tremendously important. That role as a fitness instructor really creates a community and really creates another meaning of my life that really puts that business coach in a completely different perspective.
I love that. I love that about you. As far as like you said, like we all wear a lot of hats, or can if we want to, right? So similar to you, I'm a speaker, coach, podcaster, author, all the above, right? So I like how you,
Hmm.
how you're able to have that balance between everything that you do. So kudos to
Hmm.
you. Awesome. Good, good. I'm gonna pivot into discussing the Petite Practice method. So it's about, how does about having small actions create momentum. Can you kind of expand on that?
Right. So I just talked about the fitness coaching,
Yeah.
and I talked about the fact that I'm mainly really I'm a professor and I'm also a coach where I see clients and I'm an author. So now you're wondering how does she do it all? Is I basically look at my day and I'm thinking about it a little bit of like a smoothie. And the best smoothies actually are like blended really, really well. Like they don't have like big chunks in it, but they are like, as the word says, they're smooth. So I always want to keep my day like a smoothie. I want to blend a lot of different things in. I want to do some workout. I want to do some coaching. I want to do some writing. Maybe I want to do some reading because it might spark my idea for my next podcast. And all this, these small actions are what I call petite practice. Now, I want to say petite is because I'm super passionate about France, and the French language is something I practice every day, actually. So that's important, small, petite. But it's also practice because some things that I do actually don't work out that great, right? So it's a practice. I mean, sometimes I read a book and I'm like, well, that's not really my jam. And then I put it back because I mean, not everything that you pick up is actually amazing, right? Or sometimes I have an idea for a podcast episode and then when I write it out, I'm like, nah, it's kind of boring. No, we don't want to do that. And that's okay too. It's a practice, right? So you need to think a little bit about spending a small amount of time going for something. If it doesn't work out, that's okay because you just spend a small amount of time. It's not like you just sat there for 8 hours and you dedicated something. It's a first attempt in learning. That's, fail, the word. So I want to normalize that we can fail, but I also want to normalize that we need to practice. We need to be much more playful with what we do and then really blending it all intentionally together for this smoothie that I just talked about at the beginning. And that's how I create a lot of joy in my life. I basically have ideas when I'm on my walk. I have ideas when I go to my workout class. And those ideas might not be necessarily about the workout class, about the walk, but they might be about my business. So the best ideas I get when I'm actually not at the computer. And I think that's really why I'm so productive.
Same here. I get the best ideas. Same thing when I'm walking or even in the shower. So you'd be surprised.
Shower.
Shower, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, I could do this, and then that's how things start. So I love that. So we're gonna expand on that thought a little bit. So what does the growth mindset mean to you? So what is that about?
Yeah, so think about earlier when I talked about, coming from Germany, using some of my roots, really thinking about adaptability and then being an educator as well. I think that you need to think about your learning as something that you're trying and that you're kind of playful with. That's really, really important. We sometimes are so hard on ourselves where we feel, oh, I just wasted my time doing this. But a growth mindset means that you're experimenting with it and that you are maybe trying something that might turn out absolutely incredibly great, or it might turn out as something that didn't work out. And I always tell my students the only reason why I am so productive is because I always think I'm just going to go for it, right? I'm just going to try it. And that is the growth mindset that you're just trying it. Because if you're not trying, well, you certainly are not, going to succeed at it. But at the safe side, you can also not fail with it. So my growth mindset really is that I think if you have a goal, we're going to take action, we're going to get you there. We're not just going to say, oh, I want to become an author. That's a result goal, right? And then I'm like, well, that seems kind of a fixed mindset. So how are we going to grow to become an author? Or maybe you want to become an author by writing 2 pages every day, or maybe every other day, right? And that is an action goal because now we are learning, we are growing, we're getting closer to the goal, and we actually see there is growth in terms of the manuscript or whatever you're writing. And I think that is so important that you give yourself permission to set a clear path to your goal, but at the same time, you're also thinking that not every day those 2 pages are going to be tremendous and amazing, but you're still growing.
I agree. Almost like chopping wood, chipping away, right? Little by little by little. And eventually you hit the end game, right? Which is your goal, right? I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm the same way. I just sometimes I dive in feet first, and it's not smart, but other times, like you
mhm,
don't know unless you try, as they say, right? So
yeah.
that's me. So we've been talking about wellness, right? So why is wellness, according to you, like the foundation of success?
Well, if I mean, we always go back to that saying in the airplane. If you really think about that, you get always reminded when you board an airplane with the safety precautions, put your oxygen mask on first, and then you take care of others. So by taking care of myself, I can be a better mother, right, to my children and a better wife to my husband. Of course, I can be a better professor in the classroom because if there's one word that all of my students say, like, oh my gosh, she has so much energy and she's like super bubbly, right? And of course, I can be a better coach because I model my clients what they can do to take care of themselves. And I mean, in general, of course, it's all connected. It's like the big wheel in the middle. That's really just you taking care of yourself and fueling your brain, fueling your body by taking care of yourself. So you really have to question a lot of things that you do in your business. Wouldn't it be better if I would take care of myself because then I wouldn't be so tired? Or maybe then I could actually use my brain and I could focus on it if I would go on that quick walk right now instead of just staring at the screen. Because on that walk, I might actually get that idea. So I think wellness is always going to be in the heart center of it. It's really what drives your purpose. And there should always be time for it. Even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, there should always be time to take care of yourself because that's really going to be the the payout of that is going to be tremendous and not monetary necessarily, but eventually it's going to be monetary because you take care of yourself.
Yeah, agreed. Health is wealth, right? As they say. So as I mentioned before, so I think it's important to kind of that be in your core, and then not, and then through that, through addressing that, then you could do it for years and years and years to come, right? So I agree with you there. So so tell us what are you working on now? Tell us about your podcast. Tell us a little bit about what you got cooking.
Yes, I have 3 books that I published. I published two just a couple of months ago at the end of March. One of them is a planner called Petite Practice Planner. And one is the book that I'm currently using in my coaching as well as in my teaching, Discover Your Superpower. And that book ties in a lot with my podcast as well. So it has the podcast episodes, it has power word searches in there. So I'm teaching concepts, and then you do a word search and you find the concepts in the word search, which is super fun. And it has personality quizzes in there to really help you discover your superpower. Now, going forward, right? So here we are coming half of the year. My plan is I'm getting ready for my TEDx talk, which is in August. And I want to actually write a book about just that. How did I turn from a published author, a speaker, into a TEDx talk? How did that all happen, that transition there? And I want to really document that whole journey from application to preparation to giving the talk and then after to kind of demystify a little bit of what people have been asking me and how to actually do this and really help. And whether that's a TEDx talk or it's giving a talk at a graduation ceremony or at a wedding or just standing up at the dinner table at the Thanksgiving meal, and everybody has to eventually open their mouth and share something. So that's really what my goal is, to kind of like make you more confident sharing your message with the world. So that's what I'm working on. Fourth book. It's in my brain already, and I started writing, already came up with the super cute title.
Nice.
And now it's just putting the
Pen to
words in
paper, as they say.
action.
I love that. I'm here promoting my second one. You're ahead with my fourth. I gotta catch up to you.
Well,
That's
it's
awesome.
sometimes it's like I call it a Petite Practice collection. It's like a little family,
Sure, absolutely.
right? They're like all companions to each other. The books are. So the first book last year, How to Master Your Goals, was really just the starting point, and then I was like, ooh, and I should also do that. And now it's just like one thing leads to the next.
That makes sense. Like my first book is on networking in general, and then I interviewed
Yeah,
a couple of experts as far as how to network. And the second one uses those concepts, and I expand on that thought as far as how to find money and where to find it from, and how to put yourself in the right position in the right room. So
good.
it's interesting how you and I are very similar, but in different industries, but very similar in that vein, right? So
Love that.
love that. What final advice would you give to folks on the fence, whether it's trying to find a coach, whether it's just on the fence with their
Mm.
goals? What final advice would you give them?
I think it's so important to work with a coach that you feel is real, so to speak, shows their successes, but also their failures. Because I think that if you ask somebody some tough question and that person always has like a perfect answer to everything, it sometimes makes you feel, well, they're actually just making this up here right now. So for me, there are sometimes questions that I get asked, and I have to honestly say, actually don't know that. Let me research this and I will get back to you. Because I think the best people are the ones that are really showing up, but they're also showing up authentically and they are real, and they really want to help you turn you into the very best version of themselves. That's the always the main goal. It's making you feel you're aligning with what your superpower is and who you really are. And I think that's my best advice for you to find a coach is find somebody that jives with you and find somebody that makes you smile, makes you laugh, but also makes you work, and somebody that is there for you when you need them, but also is somebody that you can kind of lean on when maybe things are, like not working out so great. Yeah, I always appreciate when people reach out to me and set up a discovery call and figure out really like how things are working and help them get to that next stage. So I would be happy if you reach out and let me know and maybe help you write your book, start your podcast, or get you on that stage.
I love that. Where can people find more information about you? Perfect segue. Could I plan it any better?
My website is called drchristiana.com. So it's written out Doctor, and then my first name, Christiana.com. And of course, you can find my podcast, Happy Healthy Hustle. It's actually one of the top 1% podcasts globally. And I like to also share, of course, my secrets in my coaching. So I always tell all my clients, like, you get the best stuff right here. You get the juicy details and how I do it. And then, of course, in my speaking engagements. So if you want to book me for your next keynote or watch my TEDx talk, I would love to get you on the sidelines there as well and have you cheer for me too.
I love it. I love it. Our time is up. Our time is up, right? Over 30 minutes, and we had a fantastic conversation. Dr. Christiana, right?
Yep,
Christiana Schroeter. I thought I butchered that. That's Dr. Christiana
it's
Schroeter.
amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Hey, Dr. B. Hope you enjoyed this limited edition Deals and Dreams pilot. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you got some insight. And remember, as Mike Lee would say, you are one big deal away from making it happen. All right, take care.